What's up, everybody? My name is Elliot, and today we are here with 100% Jake. What are we doing here today? Well, we are going to review each other's hybrids. I, as you know, am a staunch Prius fan. Jake, however, has been insisting that the Insight is the way to go since we both bought these cars around the same time almost a year ago, 3 months ago. Whatever, it's close. Either way, we're both glad you're here. Welcome to the channel. Welcome to both channels. If you haven't already subscribed to his channel, check it out. There's going to be a link in the description. He's got a lot of Insight viewers. I've got a lot of Prius guys, and maybe we can, you know, the plan is we're going to walk around each other's cars, try to point out the weirdness and explain stuff about them, and then take each other's cars out for a drive and see what it's like. The Insight actually predates even the first-gen Prius. It's Honda's quirky first attempt at a hybrid. But the cool thing is they were available in a manual as well as a traditional CVT automatic, whereas the Prius was only ever available in its planetary-ish CVT style transmission. Jake's actually is the manual version, so I'm really excited to drive a manual hybrid. That's just a unique combo, and it's very rare. Other than that, let's check out each other's cars. All right. All right, well, first things first is we're gonna be walking around the Insight. It's impossible not to notice the big red door that says Supreme on it.
This car was backed into by a truck, which just completely crumpled in the door, the crash bar shattered the window, and at that point it was just pushed away kind of into a grassy field and left there for 3 years. I could not find a silver door anywhere near Wichita. I did find a red car getting parted out up in Kansas City, so I went and got the red door and haven't decided if painting it is worth the effort yet, but I figured might as well make it look a little bit intentional. So watch JR go, cut me out this dank decal, and now it confuses old people everywhere.
It adds flair to an otherwise, you know, kind of flairless vehicle.
Oh, come on, look at all the flair. This is a head-turning blob on wheels.
The other main styling cue that you just don't see on other cars are these wheel spats here. It was a style thing that they used to do back in the 50s just to be cool, but this has them for fuel efficiency, and apparently they look to me like you could just like swivel this up and like shove it in and work on whatever, but apparently that is not the case. How difficult are these to remove?
I'll let you know when I'm brave enough to actually take them off.
Well, but like I said, you can see their purpose. The air will come along here and not get interrupted by that pesky wheel. So that's pretty cool. This is a hatchback, correct? So
yeah, unlock it. New hatch struts.
Ooh, yeah, those are strong.
And yeah, there's a pretty generous amount of space under here. The IMA battery lives right under here. It actually gets fresh air blown across it from a duct that's just above the fuel tank, and then you've got actually
that's deep.
Another trunk there.
Wow.
For additional storage, and then over here under a flap is your CD changer, which works some of the time.
That's pretty fancy. I think this storage area is pretty big, and it's certainly bigger than what's offered in the new Supra, which is a bigger car. I know it's a weird comparison. Listen,
come from?
Because I expected the storage area to be really small in this, like the car suggests. I expected the storage area in the Supra to be a little larger, like its size and price suggests. That's what we're about on this channel, is weird comparisons. It's the only place you're gonna get a Honda Insight compared to a Toyota Supra. This is what really makes this car special, is the manual transmission right here. When I get behind the wheel, you'll see the dash is actually really cool as well. The Honda S2000-ish steering wheel. A very simple layout. It's different than the Prius. You know, the Prius is very screen-centric. This still has a traditional gauge cluster. Now, another interesting thing when you're actually seeing this thing go down the road, it looks like the front is wider than the rear, because it is, right?
The differing track widths kind of sums up the entire philosophy behind this car, which was efficiency above and sometimes at the cost of all else, because that differing track width does let the back end be narrower, which is excellent for aerodynamics, but it drives like garbage in the snow. because you've got the tracks being made by the front wheels, and then the rear wheels kind of want to be in one or other, and it's almost uncontrollable, I hear.
Luckily, it only snows like twice a year here in Kansas, so
Yeah.
we're pretty good. But let's take a look here. Another key difference between the Prius and the Insight, all generations of Prius, is that this is a 3-cylinder, and all of the Priuses are 4 cylinders. Neither car is powerful. I don't think we're going to fool anybody there, but it is interesting that they went with a 3-cylinder.
This is a K-car engine that has been enlarged to 999 cc's up from the standard 600, and then coupled with a sandwich motor that goes between the engine and transmission. It's about 2 inches thick. On its own, that 3-cylinder produces, I believe, 67 horsepower, and the electric motor adds in an extra 10. And it works a little bit different than pretty much any other hybrid made. The IMA is very much gas engine first, and the electric motor is kind of a secondary subsystem that kicks in when necessary. The goal here was that they wanted this 1 liter to perform like a 1.6.
What a goal.
Yeah.
It's achievable goals like that made Honda the company that they are today.
This car was actually produced in the same factory as the NSX due to being an entirely aluminum monocoque, which no other factory had the means to produce. So this came out off the line right next to supercars, and it cost, I don't remember the exact number.
I don't think it was cheap. I can drop it on the screen.
It was very, yeah, the number will be on the screen, whatever it is, but it was very expensive for back in the day for what wasn't exactly a known factor. There was a lot of stuff about this that nobody was really sure of, a lot of technology that just hadn't been tested on the mass market before, so this was sort of a test bed. Not seeing that.
Now, what is it? Is this you? Is this a custom Jake?
So,
or what is this?
Yeah, the original 12-volt battery was long gone when I got this. What I had on hand was a motorcycle battery and a broken mallet, and I just used the head from the mallet to shim it. So it's...
Okay, I thought it was some sort of anti-vibration thing, the way that it was there.
Just needed something to squish against the battery so it'll not move around.
Well, that's cool. So, like I said, I don't know if this would pass autocross tech, but it does look good.
I could pass way sketchier stuff through autocross tech.
All right, well, let's get this thing out on the road and see what it's like. Ooh, Insight keys. Ooh, look at those gauges. Very, very futuristic.
So to drive this car, it's just like any other manual car, except you want to pay attention to your regen. When you're coasting to a stop, you want to just be in gear.
Okay.
Don't coast in neutral or you're never going to be charging
It doesn't
the
regen?
battery.
Huh. This is my first time driving stick shift, right? So it's an easy car to learn on?
So how good are you at double clutch downshifting?
Look at this, I'm driving a stick shift hybrid. It is just the weirdest thing. Okay, so I can see the charge and assist thing going on here. And does it, when you apply the brakes, does it charge more?
Yes, the first like 30% of your brake travel is just telling the car, hey, I'd like to regen now.
Okay, we are auto stop started now. The engine is off. And when it did that, it pretty much turned the AC off too, huh? This is the economy way. I don't know if it'll show up on camera, but sweat is forming. It is a humid day. But if you want efficiency, you got to cut that AC off when the engine's off. But boy, do you drive this with the windows down a lot? Or?
Sure do.
Okay, that makes more sense. All right, here we go. Okay, I put it in gear. It started when I put it in gear. That's interesting. And I got a honk.
He must just appreciate the Honda Insight.
Yeah, he was telling me, he was saying, hey, cool car. Not that I needed to go. Drives great. Drives like a little normal car. I thought it would ride a lot harsher than this because it looks like it doesn't weigh very much, and I don't think it does, right?
1,800 pounds.
Wow. That's crazy. But I thought it would be noisier and harsher over bumps. There's some bumps right here, so it's pretty good. And how many miles does this have on it? Because it's quite a few, right?
190,000.
Okay, so it's been used. Overall, this transmission's great, though. We're not driving a performance car. You know, I wasn't expecting. There's a Fisker Karma.
There's a Fisker Karma.
Yeah. Too bad we don't get that on camera, but
yeah.
man, it cuts. Okay, so that's the other thing is, if you put it in neutral and you do coast to the rest of the way to a stop from like 5 or so, it turns the motor off. Like, it doesn't wait.
The threshold is 17 miles an hour.
Wow. I wouldn't say I'm giving it the beans, but I'm accelerating, and it shows you the amount that you're using the battery or charging the battery. It calls it assist, and apparently this thing needs a lot of assistance. And okay, so that again, you coast to a stop, the engine cuts off, and the air conditioner doesn't even give you just a second to breathe.
I don't understand why they couldn't at least just leave
the fan, just the blower. So another thing that's different is the Prius has the screen over here that's constantly showing you the arrows, and it's a blast to watch. All of this action is happening in the gauge cluster, and you'd think, you know, while you're sitting here, it'd be giving you some sort of green thumbs up or, you know, congratulations leaf for sitting here at the stoplight, but it's just kind of blinking auto stop. I'm gonna give it the beans here once we get straightened out. I'm used to Hellcat, gotta have your wheels straight before you give it the power. All right, this is it. Full assist. We're also going uphill.
Yeah, the transmission is the most befuddlingly geared thing in the universe. The gap between first and second is huge.
Full assist, okay. You know, we got going.
Even up that steep on-ramp, we were at highway speeds when it was time to merge. Yeah. We just had to go full assist.
Yeah, it's not making a bunch of racket, and it didn't feel like we were really hauling it. As you can see, I was gesticulating while doing a full throttle pull. So, man, this thing loses speed very quickly. I was off the throttle a little bit, and it was like dipped down in speed 10 miles an hour.
Yeah, it was weird having to pretty much be at half throttle all the time.
Does it have cruise control?
No.
It just doesn't have it?
Nope. Not an option.
Not even an option, wow. And I'm really having to keep in the throttle here. This reminds me of another fun comparison for you. This is actually a lot like driving a Jeep Wrangler in the amount of throttle input you need to have in it to keep up highway speeds. Definitely feels like it loses speed at an unnatural rate. Is the only way I could say it. Especially considering we're supposed to be slipping through the air right now. That's the idea. We're like a needle going through the air compared to everything else. Oh my God! Look at this guy's belly shirt.
I don't wanna.
No, look, it's just sleeves. There's a homeless man or something, and he's at the stoplight, and he somehow made a shirt that is exclusively sleeves. It's amazing. His entire front is just open. Anyway, I do want to see steering wise, because oh my goodness. Okay. Because the front is wider than the rear, this thing turns around like a toy. Yeah. Like, that's crazy. Okay, well, not on camera was me stalling it to park it, but we are back, and it's time for Jake to drive the Prius, and I think he's going to enjoy it. Mostly because the air conditioning doesn't cut off at stoplights. That is what it's like to drive a stick shift Honda Insight. You just don't see them anymore, and especially not in the stick shift variant. What a treat to get to drive. Never thought I'd say that. We're reviewing two hybrids, very typical cars, and we're over here being like, wow, how special. As a car guy and as a young guy, I used to talk a lot of crap on cars like these just because they're easy targets. But after owning one and driving several, and now adding this to my Rolodex of cars that I've driven, they're the perfect complement to any performance car that you have. You really don't need any more than this in a daily driver, and it's far more interesting to drive than a non-hybrid, I think. Trying to charge the battery up as much as you can or shoot for the highest miles per gallon. These cars are interactive in a way that is difficult to convey unless you actually drive one. I highly recommend hybrid ownership to complement your sports car. You know, get a Prius to go with your Viper, get an Insight to go with your Corvette. I appreciate Jake giving me the opportunity to drive it, and if you haven't, go check out his channel. It's at 100PercentJake, or it's not at. Go check out his channel, 100PercentJake. I'll have a link in the description below. He's got cool merch on his website, and yeah, just check out his channel. He's got a lot of cool stuff, and I don't think this is the last video we're going to do together.
Hopefully not.
I think we're going to get these things out on the autocross track whenever autocross becomes a thing again. I know I have other cars to take, and I know he does too, but that's no fun. These would be hilarious out there. So stay tuned for that. Stay tuned for more ridiculous comparisons. And like I said, go check out Jake's channel. Other than that, like, share, subscribe, do all the normal YouTube stuff, and I'll see you on the next video.
The other main tip is the second gear synchros don't really exist anymore, so double clutch to second, which means...
Oh, yep. Sorry, should have double clutched that like you said. What it's going to end up doing is me fumbling this second downshift again and again and again. Apparently I just can't do it in this car. But we'll try it. Rev it out with the clutch out.
Yes. Now clutch in second.
Oh,
yeah.
Look at that.
Clutch out, rev up, and then clutch in second. There you go.
It wasn't the smoothest thing in the world, but I still got it.
Having to teach this to my wife too. Oh,